This week, it's time to bring a food forest to life. In case you missed the episode a few weeks back, let me catch you up. I was helping out a friend preparing the landscape and irrigation system for his future food forest. From digging out trenches, installing water pipes, spreading compost, creating berms and a huge pond. There was a lot of work going on that week. Some of you were very curious to see the next steps on this project, so I decided to take you along again and show you how we bring this food forest to life by planting 395 trees.
There.
Hey!
It's perfect.
Perfecto!
Actually,
Okay, so I have eight buckets.
this one is really beautiful.
Good.
There, I don't know. That's this
Kaki, I just saw
funny name.
Kaki is here.
Then the pawpaw,
Oh, that was
Asimina.
the small one somewhere there,
Is
right?
it spiky one?
Uh-huh.
The prunus. Here.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Then
Sisyphus.
the Mespilus germanica.
Okay.
Here you go.
Yes.
And then we have the Tona sinensis.
I don't know, but that's
This
like I
one.
said.
Sisyphus
Yeah, this
juba.
one.
And the Sambucus.
Okay. Good.
Gute.
Once we placed the trees on their right spot and forever home, we started to prepare the soil around it by loosening it up and adding some extra nutrients to ensure a healthy growth. And after Lars finishes drilling the hole, I spread some more nutrients on the dug up soil, put that mixture back into the hole and plant the tree. Do we leave the tags on? What do you want to do?
Yeah, for now, yeah.
Oh, where is these? So do I do a bit of spreading around at all?
Maybe just like
Like a
this,
bit
so
like, yeah.
you punish it a little bit so it's stimulated to grow, but it's not too much actually.
Yeah.
You can still see some dirt. Look at the worms.
What?
There are worms
Where? Really? Where? Did you see where?
Mm.
Oh, a baby worm. Yeah.
Ah, I like this.
Yes, important.
That's already
important
1/3 of
with
the whole field.
With a Dutch worm.
Yeah. An invasive one.
Yes.
But yeah, that's already
Like
1/3 of the
this?
worms we found in the field. So
Do you want it or like a bit more high like this?
a little bit lower is okay because it's easier to water when it goes up.
Okay.
So
got
don't
it.
fill it up because the how do you call
The
this?
root will rot.
Yeah.
No, just because I like to plant them like here, but if you like, it just really depends on some.
It's okay to do it deeper, but don't fill it up. So just make it like
Okay.
this. It's nice to water.
Okay. And now I basically take a bit of that. Oh, it's blue. And then just like this, basically. It doesn't drop down now.
Yeah.
it's
So
like-
what they say is like you do it like this,
Ah.
and then like this, and then the rest falls into the.
Like
because now it's on the roots.
Yeah, but
And
of
this
course.
is no, there's no. Yeah, I
Yeah, it
think it
doesn't
will
matter.
grow there, but
Yeah. Okay.
But this is also like a 30 or 40% extra chance on success.
Okay.
Success rate, a higher
Yeah.
success rate.
But this has to be on the ground. Is that correct, or academical?
Underground, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it doesn't work.
It's a fungi, so it needs to
Okay.
be wet.
Oh, okay. Got it.
And if you find big clumps of this,
Yeah.
just throw it
As mulch.
outside of the meat.
Oh,
Not
outside.
as much, because this is very invasive grass.
Okay. Got it.
And there's a lot of it here. The others are okay.
Would this one be okay like this then?
I like it.
Okay.
Love it.
Good. Mwah, and everybody gets a kiss For
like,
good
like
growth.
that too.
for good growth.
Cornus causa. We decided to do a food forest because we wanted to have like more or less a self-sustainable life, grow all our own foods and everything from our own land. Yeah, we didn't really want to do it the normal way with the vegetable garden only and like a lot of tillage of the ground and like degrading ground and soil as well. So we tried to find ways to farm in a way, or at least to grow our food in a way where we actually improve the soil over years. I think it's a nice mixture between growing food and also have like a piece of nature that will attract like lots of nature life and animals and things. And yeah, this is a system that will like for the coming 100, 200 years will still keep on growing and getting better and improving the soil. It is more or less a food forest, but we don't follow all the rules of a food forest. The food forest is really meant to like plant your trees, plant some pioneers, and then actually wait and let like the nature and let the soil life, the worms, the bacteria, the fungi, let them do the work. And it needs to go in the process as nature wants it. But then you also have like different kinds of this, like agroforestry, you have like syntropic. It's all getting more and more popular as well, and that actually means you have like more pioneers, like actually too much that you would plant in a food forest, because it would make too much shade and everything for the other trees. But then if you put a little bit more work in it and you start cutting them, especially when you cut the pioneers in summer when all the nutrients are in the branches and are in the leaves, and you cut them and you place them on the ground next to your trees, and that will start to like rot and everything, you speed up the process. We actually like that. We like to have like food from this forest in like 5 to 7 years instead of like wait for 10, 15, 20 years, because the soil is really, really bad in a way of there's not much organic matter. So we want to speed that up just a little bit, at least in the coming 10 years. It's not like strong fertilizers, because you don't want to get your trees depending on the fertilizers that you put in now, because that will mean they will work in the coming few years. They will work really nice because of the fertilizers you put in. But then when the fertilizers stop working or the tree used it, it will die again anyway. So this is why we don't really use strong fertilizers, but we just give some soil improvements. So this is like the stuff that has bacteria inside, has fungi inside, it has just some phosphor for the trees. So the trees gets a bit stronger, it has some more of that, especially for the first few year. And then if it survives the first 3 years and it gets a bit bigger, it roots a bit deeper to the groundwater, then it should be okay to survive on its own. So we actually have many different species. This is also like how you should design it as well. This is how they plan, like how should you make a food forest, because you want many different species. Because when you have only apples, for example, you'll get disease in one of the apples, it will jump from one to the next, and then they will all get infected real quick, for example. So now we have many different trees, and if we have like 4 apples, for example, there's one there, and one there. So if you have like a dry season, the one that's in a wet area will do really well. But if you have a really wet season, you have the apple in the other place that will do well maybe. And then there are also different species that can handle other things. And in this forest, it's okay if some trees fail the 1 year and not the next year, because there are enough trees. We have like 75 different species of all kinds of fruits, nuts. We chose the plants and trees that work in this area, because we have quite wet winters and dry summers, and we didn't really want trees that we are watering all summer. That's like, we want this to be more or less self-sustainable forest. So we chose most of the trees that can stand those long dry summers. And then also, of course, the things we like to eat. I mean, we're not gonna plant many trees that we even don't like ourselves. So yeah, this is more or less how you come to like, oh, I like this, and this. And then you find out as well, are there like species that support other trees that we're not really gonna eat, but they fix nitrogen, for example, or their leaves drop and that will be organic matter as well, or they grow above the other trees and they will give shade to the trees you find important. So this is like the trees that support the trees you actually want and you want your fruits from. The designing was actually quite a puzzle, because we had a list of all the trees we wanted, and there's like 75 trees that all like a different spot, like in the wet soil, the dry soil, it likes being in the shade, it likes being in the sun. So we actually ended up with making a big map, and we just cut papers in the size of the tree, and then we started moving them around. On the little paper, it's like we had color codes, like likes to be in wet soil, likes to be in the shade or in the full sun, or it doesn't matter. This one fixes nitrogen, this one is evergreen, so also wintergreen is quite important because it has loads more shade underneath, so it's important that you don't plant a tree underneath that can't stand shade. So then you start shifting all the trees around and see where works best. This is dry, so this is this. And then you can also see, okay, this is going to be a huge tree because this is like a walnut, for example. But then you have like smaller trees that can grow underneath, and you start planting them in there. And this is like how we started shifting, and in the end going to the results, I guess, to the actual plan. Yeah, so pioneer tree is like a few species of trees. It's different in every area, but in Europe here it's trees like the alnus, so the elder, you have the birch, the Beta lapendula, and you have the willow, the salix. So this is the trees we are going to use, at least. It's the trees that will pop up if you have a field just full of grass. This is the trees that pop up first and start preparing the soil, start to make shade on the floor, and start to change the grassy landscape into a more foresty landscape, because like oak will not start growing just in the middle of a field. It's those pioneers that start first, and this is why it's also important to plant them around here, because they will change the soil into a forest soil quicker than all our fruit trees will. What's my favorite tree in the food forest? I'm not sure. I like this one actually. It's because it fruits really early in spring, and you have like all the other fruit trees are mostly in summer, just after summer. They all come at the same time, so you have loads of fruits then anyway. But this one is like early spring, and that's quite rare. And it stays green in winter, so it has like flowers right now actually. So also for the bees it's amazing, because like all the other fruit trees, apples and pears, they flower in spring, and then a few months later after summer they all give their fruits. But this one is all the way around, so it's flowering now. So if you have bees, for example, and they're still wandering around, they have something in fall or in winter as well. I've been reading a lot, and apparently it's better to start with the pioneers, plant them around, because they will start changing the soil before you actually put your high value plants that actually like the soil when it's already changed. So now I'm planting them all at the same time, and that should work as well, but they will probably grow a lot better if you just put those pioneers for 5 years. If you have the time anyway, you need to start planning your whole food first and everything. Just start with planting loads of pioneers, and then just let nature do its thing. And then when you start planting, you just cut a few around and you just put it on the floor, let it rot, and then you plant your valuable trees in between.
It's very good advice for the ones that want to start a food forest.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed this week's episode and glimpse into the making of a food forest. I see you next week and next year back on my land. Happy New Year! Bye!